I thought it was just another random stream link from a private forum, until I realized the person being filmed was me. That night started like every other. Dim light, empty energy drink cans, and the soft whir of my PC tower. I was in my second year of college, majoring in cybersecurity. You'd think someone like me would know better than to click on something that felt off. But curiosity has always been my worst habit. It was a private, invite-only chat room called Ghost Channel. You couldn't find it on Google, not unless you knew where to look. Members called themselves things like Root Zero, Nullface, Echo, and I went by GhostBit. We traded exploits, test files, breach samples, all in the name of education, or at least that's what we told ourselves. Most of it was harmless digital spelunking, but every now and then, someone would post something darker. That night, the chat was unusually quiet. Only a few active users, all posting random code strings and error dumps. Then, at exactly 2:13 a.m., a new message appeared. Sys feed, live camera 5, unlisted. Don't blink. The link looked clean, no trackers, no red flags in the header. But there was something strange about the timestamp embedded in the URL. It matched my system clock exactly, down to the second. I hovered over it for a moment, then clicked. A new tab opened to a live stream window, black for a few seconds, then static, then a grainy feed. A single room came into view, dimly lit by a flickering desk lamp. Walls grayish blue, cheap camera angle, like an old laptop webcam sitting too low. At first, it was just empty. No movement. Just the hum of background noise. Then someone entered the frame. A person sitting in a swivel chair, back facing the camera. Head slightly tilted down, like they were looking at something in their lap. For a long time, nothing happened. They didn't move, didn't speak, didn't even twitch. The chat beside the video filled slowly with usernames. Root Zero, feed stable, nullface, bitrate low but real. Echo, is that pre-recorded? GhostBit looks live. I typed that before even thinking. Then, staring harder at the feed, something in the frame tugged at me. A faint, familiar shape on the wall behind the figure. A poster, a band I'd liked since high school, Shades of Static. Same exact tear on the corner, same fade mark from the sun. I blinked, looked over my shoulder. The same poster hung on my wall. My mouth went dry. I dragged the video window wider, squinting at details. The same lamp, the same white mug with the small chip near the rim, the same pile of textbooks stacked on the left. It was my room, only the lighting was different. A faint yellow hue, not the blue of my actual lamp, and the camera angle slightly offset, like it was being filmed from another corner of the same space. The timestamp updated in real time, live. That was 2 a.m. That was right now. I laughed nervously, convincing myself it had to be some kind of deepfake. Maybe someone spoofed my old YouTube videos. Maybe one of my classmates was trolling me. I grabbed my phone and turned on my own front-facing camera, panning it around the room. Nothing unusual, no extra devices, no hidden lenses. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Then in the live feed, the person in the chair moved. Slowly, deliberately, they reached toward their mouse, and the camera panned. Now the webcam faced slightly left, toward their monitor, and what it showed made my heart stop. The screen in the video showed a live view of my computer monitor. From behind me, it was like watching a reflection that shouldn't exist. Infinite mirrors inside mirrors. Me watching me, from another perspective. I spun around in my chair, staring into the shadows behind my setup. Nothing, just the dull glow of my own monitor and the silent walls. When I turned back to the stream, the person in the chair had vanished. The chat was blowing up now. Nullface, WTF. Echo, someone's mirroring your IP. GhostBit, that's your room, dude. Stop trolling. I tried typing, but my keyboard lagged, like the system was being throttled remotely. Then the camera on my own laptop, the tiny green LED, flickered on. Except, I hadn't opened any apps. I froze, unplugged the USB webcam, the light stayed on. The stream on screen zoomed in slightly, onto my desk, right down to the label on my coffee mug. It was impossible. I yanked the Ethernet cable. Internet gone. Still, the stream continued, live. The chat updated one more time. Unknown user, nice setup, GhostBit. Wave to us? I backed away from the desk, heart hammering in my throat. My screen started glitching, faces flickering frame by frame, each distorted beyond recognition. Dozens of them. Mouths moving silently, eyes wide and unblinking. Then the stream froze. For a few seconds, the only sound was the fan inside my tower, spinning too fast. Then a single text line appeared across the middle of my screen. "We can see you even when you sleep." The screen went black, and then my desktop wallpaper changed. A new image, blurry, grainy, but unmistakable. It was me, sitting at my desk, taken seconds ago. I stared at it for what felt like forever, unable to breathe. Then I pulled the plug from the wall, cutting power entirely. He didn't sleep that night. Didn't touch the PC again. When dawn finally came, he packed the whole tower into a box, duct taped it shut, and left it by the dumpster. But that wasn't the end, because that night, while setting up his new laptop, the camera light flickered on, just once. Before he'd even connected to Wi-Fi, he tried to laugh it off the next morning. Told himself it had to be a virus, some elaborate deepfake prank. But he couldn't shake what he saw, that frozen frame of his own room, the exact moment he had looked up at the screen. He took the hard drive out of the tower, smashed it with a hammer, and tossed the pieces into separate trash bins. Then he bought a cheap new laptop, clean install, new router, even a new ISP account. No connections to Ghost Channel, no traceable aliases. He thought that was the end of it. Until the following Friday, he was writing a paper when a system notification popped up, a single folder appearing on the desktop by itself. Livecam 06. No network connection, no USB plugged in. He froze. Right-clicked. Properties showed it had been created 3 seconds ago. He opened it. Inside was just one video file, watchme.mp4. The timestamp matched the current time again, 1:44 a.m. He double-clicked, at first static, then a dark room, identical to his, except dimmer, colder. A faint red glow pulsed from somewhere out of frame. He leaned closer. It was him again. Same chair, same angle, same chipped mug, but the other him looked pale, sleep-deprived, hollow. The camera zoomed in slowly on his face. He wasn't blinking, he wasn't moving. Then his own laptop camera light turned on again. He snapped the lid shut. But through the speakers, the video kept playing, the muffled sound of breathing. A whisper, glitching in and out through static. "You shouldn't have left." He yanked the battery out. Silence. No power. But on the dark screen's reflection, he could still see faint movement behind him, like something standing just beyond the reach of the monitor glow. He turned. Empty air. Then from across the room, a quiet click. The mouse moved by itself, cursor sliding slowly to the trash bin icon. It opened. Inside were screenshots, hundreds of them. Every frame of him sleeping, eating, working, all from unseen angles. The screen flickered. The same chat window appeared from Ghost Channel, but there were no usernames now. Just one message. "Hello Ghostbit, we never log out." He smashed the laptop shut again, tossed it on the floor, breathing hard, pacing, heart hammering. But then he noticed something worse. On the opposite wall, small glowing dots, red, blinking. 5 of them, tiny lenses hidden in the corners like motion sensors. He climbed onto the desk, ripped one off. Behind the plastic lens, no wire, no circuit board, just an eye, wet, human, blinking once slowly before vanishing like smoke. He stumbled back, knocking over his chair. The room temperature dropped, breath visible. His phone buzzed in his pocket. A notification, "Your stream is live, 0 viewers." Then it changed. 1 viewer. He grabbed his phone, turned it over, camera light glowing. On screen, the live stream interface was open. It was broadcasting right now, from his phone's front camera. And in the tiny preview window, he wasn't alone. Someone was standing behind him. He turned, nothing there. Turned back. Now 2 figures in the preview. Blurry, faceless silhouettes crowding behind him, closer each second. The phone buzzed violently and slipped from his hand. It landed screen up, camera still facing him. The figures were inches away now, faces glitching in and out of visibility, static swallowing them, then reshaping into new expressions, like the digital ghosts were trying on human faces. And every one of those faces looked like his own. He screamed, bolted toward the door, but it wouldn't open. The knob wouldn't even turn. Behind him, the computer came to life again. The monitor filled with the live stream feed, hundreds of windows, each one showing him from a slightly different angle. Some were delayed, some mirrored, some showed him still sitting at the desk when he was already at the door. They were all happening at once, alternate versions of the same moment, looping endlessly. In every feed, the same text crawled across the bottom of the screen. "We are watching from inside the frame." He unplugged everything, ripped cables out of the wall, but the screen stayed lit. Even the unplugged monitor kept glowing, faint, ghostly light bleeding into the air. And then, one final message filled every screen: say goodnight. They found him the next morning, slumped against the door, unconscious but alive, laptop fried, power supply melted, every screen in the apartment frozen on the same image. A single frame of his face, eyes wide open, staring straight into the camera. No recording could be recovered. The system logs were blank, and the router showed no internet traffic that night. But the timestamp on every file, photo, screenshot, and log, stopped at 02:13 a.m., the same time he'd first clicked the link. He never touched another PC again. Moved to a small town, started fresh, changed everything: name, number, address. But sometimes, when he charges his phone, the camera light flickers once for no reason. And if he listens closely enough, under the faint static hum, he swears he can still hear them typing. Nice setup, Ghost Bit. That was the live stream that shouldn't exist. A reminder that the scariest things online aren't what you see, but who might be seeing you. If you're listening to this at night, make sure your camera light's off. And if it isn't, maybe don't check why. Subscribe for more real horror stories, because the next one might be happening right now. On your screen. Story 2. I ordered something from a dark web marketplace as a joke. I didn't realize they already knew my address before I gave it. That was the first thing the police made me repeat, over and over. Like if I said it enough times, maybe they could figure out how it was possible. It started one boring Friday night in late February. I was in my second year of college, stuck in a tiny off-campus apartment with 2 roommates, all of us majoring in computer science, all convinced we were smarter than the internet. We'd been watching creepy Reddit compilations, those dark web horror videos people claim are fake. Naturally, after a few beers, my friend Mason said we should find one of those sites ourselves. We spent about an hour poking through Tor browsers and shady link lists, most of them broken or full of pop-ups. Finally, we stumbled across a page that actually loaded. The Black Bazaar. Black background, white serif text, thousands of listings, fake passports, malware kits, hitman services, and weirdly, a section labeled Human Experiences. Each one had a price in Bitcoin and vague, unsettling names. The Midnight Knock, $30. Witness Protection Test, $70. Mystery Experience, Random Tier, $50. It was obviously a scam. That's what I kept telling myself. We thought it'd be funny to test it. Mason dared me to buy one of the experiences. I set up a burner wallet, transferred $50, and clicked purchase. When it asked for a delivery address, I filled in a fake name and the old P.O. box from my high school town, one that had been closed for years. Then I hit confirm. The loading bar hung for a moment before a message appeared instantly. Order confirmed. Delivery within 72 hours. No shipping info, no tracking, nothing. We laughed, screenshotted it, and forgot about it. It was around 3 a.m. when I heard it. A low, slow rumble of an engine idling outside. My apartment faces a dead-end alley. Nobody drives back there unless they're lost or drunk. At first I ignored it. Then I heard a soft thud like something being dropped on the pavement. By the time I looked out the window, the van was gone. The next morning I stepped outside to grab the mail and froze. Right on my doormat sat a plain manila envelope. No label, no return address. Just my fake name written in thick black marker. Inside was one single Polaroid photo. It was of my bedroom window, taken from outside. The curtains were half open, and I could see myself on the bed, asleep. I didn't even own a Polaroid camera. And my window is on the second floor. I showed it to my roommates, Mason and Chris. They laughed nervously, said it was probably some prank from the deep web seller, a freak coincidence. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Every little sound outside made me check the blinds. I left my desk lamp on until sunrise. Still, I tried to convince myself it was nothing. Until the next envelope arrived, same envelope, same handwriting. Inside, another Polaroid. This time it was zoomed in, a little closer, angled slightly higher. Through the curtains, I could see my arm hanging off the bed. The timestamp on the photo read 2:58 a.m. My stomach dropped. That's exactly when I'd woken up to use the bathroom the night before. I ran to check our doorbell cam footage, but the files were corrupted between 2:56 and 3:04 a.m. Just static. Mason still swore it was a prank, probably one of his friends messing with us. But the next night proved him wrong. It was 2:50 when I woke up to a faint shutter click outside. Then again. Then silence. I rushed to the window. Nothing but wet pavement and streetlight glare. The air outside looked wrong. Too still, like the night itself was holding its breath. When I checked the porch the next morning, there were 3 envelopes stacked together. The first showed my face in profile, sleeping. The second, closer, right beside the bed. The third, my eyes open, staring directly into the lens. But I swear I was asleep all night. I didn't go to class, didn't eat, just kept refreshing the security feed, rechecking locks, trying to find anything that made sense. Then that evening, Mason burst into my room holding his phone. He was pale, shaking. "Dude, check this." It was a new Polaroid, with left on his doorstep. The photo showed him and Chris, both asleep in their shared room. The shot was taken from the inside, facing their beds. That's when it stopped being funny. We checked every inch of the apartment, even the vents and closets. Nothing. Every door locked, windows sealed. But deep down, all 3 of us knew someone had been inside. That night, we pushed a dresser in front of the main door, sealed the windows with duct tape, and stayed in the living room together. Lights on. No sleep. Every creak made us flinch. At 2:57, the power flickered once, off, then back on. We all froze. No noise. No footsteps, just the faint sound of paper sliding under the door. We stared at it for what felt like forever. Finally, Mason bent down and picked it up. It was another envelope. No photo this time, just a note. "You're ruining the experience." We called the police that morning. They searched the property, took statements, found nothing. No prints, no sign of forced entry. They said it was probably a stalker using a drone camera. But they couldn't explain how the photos were taken inside. For a few nights, things went quiet. We started sleeping in shifts, trying to pretend life was normal again. Then the envelopes started returning, one by one. First, a Polaroid of our front door, taken from the hallway inside the building. Then one from the kitchen. Then the living room, showing all 3 of us sitting there on the couch, watching TV the night before. The lights in the picture were off, but we were lit perfectly, like whoever took it was standing just out of frame with a flash. I started hearing things too, tiny clicks at night, like a mechanical shutter from somewhere behind the walls. Once, I thought I heard quiet footsteps in the ceiling, slow, dragging ones. Mason wanted to leave, but the cops told us to stay put until they could monitor the area. So we waited. On the 5th night, around 2:50, I decided to end it. I set up my phone to record, pretending to sleep. Lights off, fake breathing, flashlight under the pillow. The apartment stayed dead quiet until 2:57. I heard it again, the faint click of a camera, then another, then the sound of someone's shoes on the wooden floor inches from my bed. I clenched my eyes shut, heart pounding, trying not to move. Then a metallic snap, the flash charging. I couldn't help it. I sat up and grabbed the flashlight, shining it straight ahead. No one there, but the air felt thick, like someone had just moved through it. I bolted out of bed, ran to the living room, nothing. Every door still locked from the inside. Then I noticed something by the front door, an envelope lying neatly in the center of the mat. I picked it up with shaking hands. The photo inside made me drop it immediately. It was me, standing in the doorway, holding the flashlight, taken from inside the apartment seconds ago. That was the last night any of us slept there. We left everything, furniture, clothes, even the electronics. 2 days later, police confirmed there were no hidden cameras, no devices, nothing. But in the crawl space above our ceiling, they found dozens of Polaroid scraps, mostly blank except for faint outlines, blurry faces, distorted hands pressed against glass. They told us it was likely a hoax. We knew better. I moved away that same month. New city, new name, no social media. I don't talk to Mason or Chris anymore. I think none of us want to remember. For months, everything was quiet. I finally started feeling normal again. No strange noises, no envelopes, no photos. Until last week. I came home from work and noticed something on my new apartment's doorstep. A single manila envelope. No return address. No name. Just waiting. I stood there for a full minute before picking it up. Inside, there wasn't a photo this time. Just a small note written in the same thick black marker. Nice new place. I don't use online marketplaces anymore. I don't even keep cameras in my house. because wherever I go, no matter how careful I am, somebody already knows where I live. That story was titled The Marketplace Order. A reminder that some corners of the internet aren't meant to be explored, because once you're seen there, you can't always disappear again. If you're listening to this on a dark night and you hear the faint sound of a camera shutter outside your window, don't look. Just close the blinds and pray the next envelope isn't for you. Story 3. My friend sent me a link to a dark web chat room called Heaven's Gatekeeper. He said it was just an ARG. It wasn't. It started on a rainy Saturday night in early April. I was part of a small Discord server of about 20 people, mostly teenage gamers and puzzle solvers. We competed in ARG hunts, creepy online games that mixed real-world clues with fake horror lore. You'd decode ciphers, follow hidden URLs, sometimes even get real phone calls. It was our thing, harmless nerd stuff. That night, my friend Eric DM'd me a link he said he found buried in an old Tor directory, heavensgatekeeper.onion. He added, "Don't freak out, it's probably just a creepypasta puzzle." So I launched Tor, copy-pasted the URL, and hit enter. The page loaded instantly, black background, white serif font, blinking cursor in the center. Then a single question appeared, "Welcome, how many are watching?" Under it, a chat box. Eric typed first, 2. Immediately, our webcam lights flicked on by themselves. Mine and his. No prompt, no permission request. The text updated again. Good, 2 souls connected. Eric started laughing. Creepy but probably scripted, he said. I wasn't laughing. A user list appeared on the right. Admin 0, Gatewatcher, Eric, Ghost Thread, that was me, and about 6 others. All usernames we didn't recognize. The chat scrolled faster and faster as others joined. Random comments, emojis, ASCII crosses. Then, without warning, the screen flashed and the entire chat cleared. Only one message remained, from Admin 0. Silence before entry. The background turned deep red. My speakers hissed like white noise, and a distorted chant started looping softly beneath it. Eric typed, "Yo, this is wild. How'd they get our webcams on?" No reply, just that same blinking cursor. Then another line appeared. "Would you like to meet the gatekeeper?" Everyone started typing yes, laughing. So did I. We shouldn't have. The chat froze. After a few seconds, Admin 0 posted a long string of text. But it wasn't random. It was our real names. Mine, Eric's, and 5 others. Each name followed by an address, my address, exact apartment number. Then the bot added, "Your souls are now registered." I felt my throat tighten. Eric tried to back out, his cursor spinning. Then his camera flickered, and I could see his reflection dimly on my screen, like his video feed was being mirrored back. Someone typed, "Don't move." Then another message, "1 soul disconnected." Eric's username grayed out. For a second, I thought he logged off, until the feed switched. The chat window minimized, and a new window opened automatically. Grainy, black and white video. It showed a dim stairwell, a person being dragged down by something unseen. The image jittered like corrupted VHS tape. Then static. Then nothing. I screamed at the monitor, called Eric's phone, no answer. He texted me 2 minutes later. That wasn't funny. "Did you send that feed?" But his messages came from an unknown number. When I called back, it rang from my own phone. The chat started moving again. One user typed, "This is fake, right?" Another replied, "Admins posting my address too." The usernames began disappearing one by one. Each time, the system logged, "1 soul disconnected." When it was my turn to type, the screen froze again. Then the words appeared automatically, like someone typing through my hands. "The gatekeeper welcomes you." I yanked the Ethernet cable out of the wall and slammed the laptop shut. For a moment, everything was silent. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I let it ring twice before it stopped. The voicemail was empty, except for that same distant chant from the site, faintly echoing. That night, I barely slept. Every light in the house stayed on. But just before dawn, I woke to the sound of my webcam light blinking. The laptop was still closed. The next day, I tried to find Eric. No answer online. His phone went straight to voicemail. By noon, our Discord server had completely vanished. Server not found. I checked the cache, but every link to Heaven's Gatekeeper was gone too. Even the screenshots I'd taken were corrupted, just static and black shapes. Still, I couldn't shake it. So that night I went back. Same browser, same address. Only this time, the page said, "Access denied. 1 soul already registered." A chill ran through me. Then my screen glitched. For half a second, the image of an eye flashed across it. Perfectly human, blood-red iris staring directly through the glass. I slammed the laptop shut again. That's when my house lights flickered. The power died for a full 10 seconds. When it came back, my monitor was on. The chat window had reopened by itself. Text appeared. "You asked for heaven, now meet the gatekeeper." The background turned crimson, filled with pulsating sigils, circular runes spinning slowly. My webcam light flicked on again. Then the feed glitched, and behind me, just for a second, I saw a shadow move. Tall, thin, watching. I spun around, nothing there, but the chat exploded with lines of text. "We see him too. Behind you. He's smiling." Then the power cut completely. Not just me, my whole neighborhood went dark. I could see other apartments through the windows, silhouettes moving with flashlights. 10 minutes later, the power came back, but my laptop screen was off. Dead black. When I finally turned it on, there was no sign of the chat room. No history, no cache, nothing. It was as if the site never existed. 2 days later, Eric's mom posted on Facebook asking if anyone had seen him. He'd left his apartment the same night I lost connection, never came back. Police said his phone was found in a nearby creek, waterlogged, still powered on. The last thing open on it was a text message draft. Someone knocked at my window. I tried to move on, but strange things kept happening. Emails from random accounts, subject lines, "Heaven's Gatekeeper says hi." Most were blank, a few filled with random code. Then one came with an attachment, a single image file. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. It was a photo of me, taken through my webcam. Same lighting, same clothes I was wearing right then. I yanked the laptop plug and threw it across the room. Hid my phone, cut Wi-Fi. But that didn't stop it. The next morning, I found a small printed photo slid under my front door, the exact same image. On the back, written in tiny black letters, "The gatekeeper sees all." I went to the police, showed them the messages, the picture. They said it was probably malware or some online stalker. Filed a report, told me not to use Tor again. That was it. But I knew this wasn't some hacker. Because 3 days later, one of the other usernames from that chat room, Gatewatcher, appeared in the local obituary section of a church website. I clicked it. The page listed 7 names. Mine was one of them. I tried to refresh, but the link redirected to a blank white page. Only one sentence remained at the center. "Your gate is open." I haven't used the dark web since. I don't even like being online much anymore. But once in a while, when my computer boots up, I see a faint flash of red across the screen, like those sigils, still burned into the pixels. And sometimes, late at night, I hear typing. Not mine, just behind me. The dark web hides things most people were never meant to see. And sometimes, when you look too long into it, it looks back. That was the chat room called Heaven's Gatekeeper, a story that proves curiosity can be its own curse. If you ever stumble on a link that feels too strange to click, trust your gut. Because once you enter some gates online, you might not be the one who decides when to leave.